What was the last book you read? A decade or two ago was probably a pretty easy question to answer. Everyone was reading something at some point. If there was nothing on TV or company wasn't over, what else did you have to do? There were plenty of people who loved reading, and there were people who read just because they wanted some entertainment. On the plane, train, or bus, in the garden or common room, on the porch, or in bed, odds are you are reading something. These days, that's not always the case. Odds are you're watching this video on your smartphone, or smart TV, or maybe your computer. Unless you love to read, you've probably only picked up a book because school required it, work required it, maybe it was a leadership book or something, or maybe you're reading a devotional for your faith, but most of those are non-fiction. You're not reading them for fun. What was the last book you read for fun? So I'm in a group of guys the other day that I don't know super well. We're all just chatting. One of them turns to me and says, "Have you read any Brandon Sanderson?" No, I haven't. Well, when you want to, I'm your guy. He goes off on his strategy for all the books and spin-offs and everything. The first book is really easy. It's about 20 hours of audiobook. I scoff at this, to which he shoots back, "Buddy, I just finished one that was 70 hours. That's nothing." This conversation is happening every day, all over. You've probably had this conversation. What happened to the afternoon read? The airplane book? The pick up and put down book? I need a strategy now? No, screw it, I'm not reading. There was a time where we had media of varying lengths and engagement. And now it seems like it's either all in or not at all. It doesn't have to be that way. You can learn to love reading again. In the back of your local used bookstore, there are shelves and shelves of dusty paperbacks made for you. Are you sick of it yet? Sick of giant tomes and genres you only kind of care about? Sick of the endless sequels, all sounding the same? Is nothing holding your attention anymore? Tired of endless lore, magic systems, explanations, thousand-year histories? Are you ready to crawl back into endless doom scrolling? Welcome to Men's Action. Lean, coming in at 200 pages or less. Mean, scruples and setup be damned. How can that happen? Magic. Why? Because he trained for it. Are you going to go into that? No. Two-fisted. Action, action, action. If somebody isn't dead in the first 5 pages, it's not the real thing. Attention grabbing. Chapters always end with cliffhangers, and those chapters whip by. Made for you, yes, you, the guy who doesn't have a whole lot of time or just doesn't want to get bogged down in the details. So pick them up, jam them in your pocket, and let's see some guys kick ass. So where do you start? My recommendation, look for publishers like Bantam, Pinnacle, Ballantine, or Golden Eagle. They all printed very thin, short paperback stories all throughout the 60s, 70s, 80s, even into the 90s. These publishers also did normal-sized books by normal authors, but that's not really our focus. So how will you know it when you see it? Oh, you'll feel it. You'll see a beat-to-hell thin book with a title like Caribbean Kill or The Haunted Ocean. You'll take it off the shelf to see a beautifully painted cover featuring a guy wrestling a shark, shooting someone, brooding, or any other number of kick-ass activities. Does that book make you say hell yeah under your breath? Then you got the right thing. And now, just read. If it's one of the good ones, it'll hook you right away. It's not that the slow burn doesn't exist in men's action, it's just that it's not as prevalent. What you'll find may be offensive. It may fly in the face of modern standards. It could be riddled with tropes. But what you'll find first and foremost is something that is honest and sincere. The book in your hands is here to entertain you. It's not here to look down its nose or teach you something. It's just here to provide a little bit of excitement, and it does so without shame. As a matter of fact, it does it with pleasure. By the end of that chapter, you'll want to read the next one. By the end of that book, you'll be reaching for the next one in your pile. And in less time than the latest slop season of streaming, you have a new hobby, and you're enjoying it. You are enjoying reading for once. One book, one adventure. Knock it out on a lazy afternoon or over the course of a few good lunch breaks. And jump in wherever you want. It doesn't matter the order that you're reading them in. If someone or something is important from a previous outing, they'll let you know. All these books are sitting in the back of your local bookstore. They're not as sexy as the Lord of the Rings hardbacks. They're not as culturally topical as the Dune books. They're not as popular as the things that you're going to be seeing around on TikTok or YouTube. And they're often going to be by authors that you don't recognize. For $10, I bet I can get you to like reading again. That's the cost for about 3 of these beat-up paperbacks. Now at this point, some of the more experienced among you may be wondering why I'm using the term men's action. Not all of the books that I'm talking about are in the action genre, and that's not really the term that's been historically used. I find it to be a useful term in stating what I'm talking about. Kinetic stories written for men as a reading demographic, primarily those that are created for short bursts of entertainment. Pulp storytelling from the teens up until the 50s fit this definition pretty well. Most of these are even shorter because they were included in anthology magazines like the work of H.P. Lovecraft and Robert E. Howard. And personally, I consider mystery and detective stories like Rex Stout's Nero Wolfe, Dashiell Hammett's Sam Spade, Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer, and Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe to fit under the umbrella because they match the spirit of it. If we want to go even broader, we can talk about radio and television that were based on these same characters, not forgetting Pulp's brother at the cinema, The Serial. But that's getting ahead of ourselves. Let's just focus on the books. Why do I think you should read them? Well, firstly, I think it's good to read. It sharpens the mind. It gives you something to talk about with other people. It increases patience. I don't have to talk about the literacy crisis or statistics for you to know that you probably should be reading more. So why not read something cool? Secondly, if you're thinking about reading, there's a real drought for stuff on the market you can really just dip your toes into. It's either way too much or total fluff. It's kind of rare to find something that has some real meat on it. So why not have some one-and-done stories that you can really enjoy, but they aren't taking all of your time? Thirdly, and I don't want to come off a certain way, let's be adults here. There's just not a lot of stuff for men being written right now. Most of the recommendations you'll be getting are Lord of the Rings, Warhammer 40k, Dune, any of these big sprawling things, these big IPs, that if you already know about them and you aren't into them, you probably aren't going to get into them. And as far as the wider market goes, it kind of feels like everything on the shelves is written by and for women, which is obviously a market to sell to. Clearly it's successful, but it kind of leaves a lot of us out in the cold here. In a market full of big IPs and things that aren't written with you in mind, wouldn't it be nice to have something original that's made for you? Springing off the current culture of men's books, these are written for the everyman. Listen, nerds ruin everything. They really do. As much as I would love to read the sci-fi novel that you've recommended to me, if I have to read one more page about the propulsion systems, I'm going to puke. I don't care about the 1,000-year history of your fantasy land. You're not Tolkien. I'm sorry. These books have their place and they're clearly selling, but you need a certain temperament to really enjoy them. Men's action is designed for the everyman. The topics are easily understood and grasped. They're described in ways that are well put, but not trying to show off how many words the author knows. These stories are well written. They're good stuff, but they aren't getting bogged down in the details. They're fixed on the main purpose of the story. Who our characters are, where they're going, and how they get to the end. There's a concept in manufacturing that you can't have something that is cheap, good, and fast. You have to pick two. My final point is that these books fly in the face of that idea. Entertainment these days is spendy and often pretty hollow. $5 on a single issue of a comic, 10 to 20 on your chosen streaming services, $20 for the latest book at the big box bookstore, $15 for the local Cineplex, $70 for the newest video game, and what do you have to show for it? You got a whole lot of time invested, and a whole lot of money spent, and Things are getting better, and there are diamonds in the rough, but I can't be the only one to notice that the number of people who are telling me about the latest coolest thing has dwindled a lot over the years. There's so much of everything, and if you're not careful, you're going to be down a lot of time and a lot of money and not have much to show for it. The Humble Men's Action paperback offers something that's almost unheard of today. Entertainment at a bargain price. That's exactly what it says on the tin. It's not big, it's not an important book, it's not on Book Talk or on bestsellers lists. It's just here to give you a good time. And that's pretty tough to pass up. Now, all this may sound good, but maybe you're still a little wary. Where do I really start? What about running characters? What's the best? What should I be reading? My initial advice is whatever you can find and whatever suits your tastes. Like I said, order doesn't really affect the reading of these. You can just jump right in. So get whatever you can find. Choose a character, give it a shot. If you don't like it, you're not down much. Just pitch it over your shoulder and pick up a different one. There's plenty to choose from. But if you want something a little more specific, all the books that are featured in this video are going to be down in the description. As for the curious and hungry, we'll be going down the list of some of the big guns, big characters, and specific books in future videos. Starting with... Stay tuned.